You're watching JD's Variety Channel.
Howdy everyone, and welcome to the video. Today I'm going to show you some rare currency that I pulled out of circulation as a cashier many years ago. For those of you who don't know, I worked part-time at a Dollar General for almost 5 years. So anyhow, this isn't going to be a very in-depth video, but it's going to give you a general guideline of currency that you can look for, when you cash a check and, getting stuff back in your change, stuff that that's potentially worth more than face value, which is always a bonus. You can't beat having a $20 bill that's worth $40, right? But anyhow, at the end of this video, I'm going to go through this bank strap of $100 and $1 bills and see if we can find anything worth more than $1. So looking forward to doing that. Now, just to get right into it, one of the reasons old currency can be worth a lot more than certain coins, like for example, a old bill from the 1950s can be worth like triple the face value, whereas if you have like an old coin like a wheat penny from around the same time, it's only worth a few cents. But the truth is that paper money gets destroyed very easily and it doesn't last in circulation very long. So there's some really rare currency out there to be found. But just to jump right into this is probably one of my best finds. And it didn't come directly, but it was one of my coworkers that had found this and gave it to me for face value. But it's actually came from a bank across the street from where I worked. And what would happen is when old paper money would come into certain branches and banks that were right next to our store, at the beginning of the month, people would cash all their checks, and a lot of them would spend portions of those checks at the dollar store I worked at. So when there was old currency circulating around my area, I knew to look for it because multiple people would come in and pay with almost the same types of old money. So anyway, this is one that I got from one of my coworkers, which was amazing to get out of circulation. It's a 1928 gold certificate, and you can see how they're on here. It doesn't say the usual of what our bills say now, which is pretty much, this note is legal tender for all debts, public and private. In this one you can see it says redeemable in gold on demand at the United States Treasury. Pretty neat. But if you would look at similar examples to this one on eBay, this one's in pretty worn condition. This would sell for around $50. And there's a lot of different things to look for in older currency. A lot of collectors like special runs in the serial numbers. Like you can see this one's a 777. And there are actually some really rare notes that have fancy numbers because there's very few of them in existence. But one of the other things to look for are star notes, which is basically, they're very easy to check for. You look at the serial number of your bill, and at the end, if it has a little star next to it, you want to save it. Basically, what these star notes are is the Bureau of Engraving and Printing, when there are damaged banknotes or ones that are errors during production, they reprint them with the same serial number, but then they add a little star next to the end of it. So the star notes are very collectible. Certain ones are more rare than others. Some are not too valuable, but then there are others that can be extremely rare, but they're always good to keep. And for example, this was a $20 star note that I pulled, and this one would sell for about $30. But hey, for a $20 bill, can't beat it. Some of the other interesting stuff I found, I say this is probably one of my best finds that I pulled myself, just because of the age of it and the fact that it is a star note. I've never found one this old in circulation before. It's actually not too uncommon to find star notes, from the 2000s and such in circulation still. These are out there, so I would definitely be on the lookout for them in all denominations. It's obviously the most common to find them in $1 bills, because normally there'd be a lot more $1 bills passing through your hands for transactions and things. But anyway, I found this $5 star note, but it's from 1963. So that was a really cool find there. And this bill isn't extremely rare, but on eBay it would sell for about $15. But hey, for a $5 bill, who's complaining? And just a few interesting errors I pulled. Now this is something you always want to look for, like, you know, major abnormalities in a bill. You can see how this one was not printed on the center of the plate, how it almost cuts off the top of the bill. Now this one isn't extremely dramatic. You may see them like this from time to time. So this one probably isn't worth a lot of money. To the right collector, maybe $5 to $10 around in there. Here is probably the best error bill that I've ever found in circulation, and you can see it's completely crooked. You can see the border of it, and I was actually really surprised when I found this because it really stood out. And unfortunately, it's not in good condition. Has a little bit of some tears in the end, but it also has an interesting serial number too, starting with 999. So that makes it a little more appealing. Now, since this is more of a one of a kind bill, I didn't really try to put a dollar value on it, but I'd say minimum of $10 anyway, but it could be potentially a lot more because, you know, this is the type of error you do not see on a regular basis, you know, that it escapes and makes its way into circulation. So that was pretty cool. Some of the other stuff I found, now everything I found is not here. Some of it I've sold on eBay over the years, but this is a good portion of it. These are all old bills that I pulled from circulation as a cashier. Obviously, I had permission from my boss to swap them out, so I would keep some money on me, and if I saw an old coin that was old, like a wheat penny or a silver dime or some old currency, I would swap it out at the register. And these are some old bills that I found from 1950. All of these bills are from 1950. And the bank across the street from us, once in a while, would get in batches of this old currency that was all dated from 1950, and people would come in and spend it after cashing their paychecks. So I always kept an eye out for that. And these aren't significantly rare. You know, for example, the $5 bills may be worth about you know, $8 to $10 a piece, and the $10 bill might be worth about $15, you know, around in there. But hey, more than face value and cool stuff. Now these two notes to show you here, these I did not pull from circulation, but it's just something else to look for other than older bills. And the star notes, anytime that there is a bill that does not have a green seal, which is pretty much all our banknotes today have green seals. If you find any banknote that does not have a green seal, you want to keep it. This one here is a 1957 silver certificate. They have the blue seal on them, and anything with a red seal is definitely a keeper. I believe these were phased out in 1966. These are destroyed when they're found. The banks send them back in. They are legal tender notes, whereas the money in our in circulation today are called Federal Reserve notes. You can see on this one it says United States note. So anything with a blue or red seal you definitely want to keep. Also keeping in mind on some of the old gold certificates they had a yellow seal instead of a green. So anything with a yellow seal, blue seal, red seal, definitely keep it. It is worth more than face value for certain. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little video. I hope you learned something. Now let's get into those. Okay, so let's go ahead and go through these $1 bills, stack of 100 of them, and see if we can find any star notes, interesting serial numbers, old bills, or anything like that. So let's go ahead and do this. You can see these bills here. These are new ones. They have consecutive serial numbers, but I'm not going to keep those. Well, I didn't find anything old or abnormally interesting in this stack, but we're definitely going to do it again, so stay tuned. And as always, thanks for watching and happy hunting.